What's up, everyone, and welcome to episode 282 of the Aussie Gamers Experience podcast. In the show this week, death has been stood up, Call of Duty done, more PS5 leaks, the con has been sold, the Jungle Cat review, PS Plus, Games with Gold, and much, much more. Editing Lucas, let's go!
This is the Aussie Gamers Experience podcast, the show with barking dogs in the background, sneezing, coughing, and all of those nice little things that remind you that this is not a paid production. Oh, and in between all of that, there's some video game stuff too. Enjoy the show.
Thank you for tuning into the show for this week. Today is Monday, the 2nd of December 2019, or as some crazy people have named it, Cyber Monday. I am your host, Snoogs, and joining me for hosting duties this week is the one and only Grejio. How are you, bro?
I am well. Busy, but I am well.
Busy. How's the move treating you? It's getting close now?
It's getting close. So by the time you guys get the chance to listen to this will be the eve of my move. But I have a lot of packing to do this week, and I have a funny feeling that it's going to be hectic as hell.
Late nights?
Well, yeah, I'm going to say there's going to be a fair few late nights. A fair few stressed Rem and Grejios running around. It's moving is a logistical nightmare. But the beauty was, on the weekend, I decided that on Saturday I would make sure everything in the garage was squared. So I pulled everything out of it, and nothing went back in unless it was packed or it was not going back in, essentially. Cool. It is all squared away in the garage, which is good.
Awesome. Well, my weekend nearly ended up in a trip to the hospital.
Oh wow, nice.
Yeah, nothing overly serious. It was for me, and it was because of my own stupidity. So, as you yourself know and have mocked on numerous occasions, I am allergic to fish. And on the weekend, I decided. Well, we're moving things around in the house. I'm still staying here. I'm not going anywhere. But moved a fish tank that was in my office out into the family room. We've got a new shelf for it to sit on, and being out there, the kids can have a bit more interactivity, and it's just a nice little feature in the room. And so it was up to me to clean it all out, and didn't think there'd be much of a problem of it. But part of the cleaning to get the water moving, I think I've either gotten some in my mouth or somewhere, and the throat swelled up a little bit and was a bit hard to breathe.
Wow.
So I think I went and laid down about 6 o'clock on Saturday night and woke up about 6:30 Sunday morning. So yeah, got knocked out real well. Whoops.
Happy day.
Oh, well. Well, what do you reckon, mate? We'll jump into some This Week in Gaming?
Let's do it.
This Week in Gaming, we are going all the way back to 2002, and I picked this game because of a cheeky little dig that the Kiwis did towards Australia. So the game is BMX XXX. Now, BMX XXX was published by Acclaim Entertainment and developed by Z-Axis. And you guessed it, with a name like BMX XXX, it was banned in Australia. So many naughty things. The reason it was banned in Australia, it was eventually censored and re-released with an MA15 plus rating. It was banned because in the menus where you could create your character, you could create a naked female rider. Why not? It's a BMX XXX game. And the reason I say about the Kiwis having a bit of a stab at us is on their box artwork. So they put an extra sticker on the outside of the artwork on any case that they sold that said banned in Australia on them as they were selling them out. It's like, here, we believe you're old enough to play this game, but the Aussies don't. It's just a nice little dig at us. Did you ever get your hands on it?
No, I remember seeing it on shelves, but I can honestly say it was never one that I sort of picked up. I didn't realize the I guess I just thought it was like a play on words. I really didn't think there was anything to it, like, and I didn't really look it up or anything like that. But having said that, I'm like looking at pictures right now. I'm not sure I missed much, to be honest.
No, you didn't miss much. I did play it.
The uncensored version, like, you got to remember what graphics were like back then.
Oh, yeah.
Like, GTA 3 titties. They're not kind of like GTA 5 titties, is all I'm saying.
Well, Radicus is saying that you could race to win strip shows.
Yeah, I bet. Oh, right, so there was like was there like a FMV thing, or was it still the same video?
God knows.
Because that would have been awkward as sin. Like, I'm looking at a picture here of like the writer editor, and I guess while it's in menu and you're looking at it straight on, I guess it has some sort of, anatomical correctness to it. But yeah, once you get in game, all bets are off. I'm just saying.
Yeah. Well, look, it didn't break any records. It didn't really set the tone for any future BMX or anything like that. To give you a bit of an idea, the critic score was 58 out of 100, and a user score based on local user ratings that I could find was 2.9. So
there's a lot of disappointed
masturbators. A lot of disappointed. Well, them.
It's got 2.9 sucks. Waste of lube.
My uncle always said you only do it till you need glasses, not till you go blind. What do you reckon we'll jump into the show, eh?
Yeah, or at least wait until only one eye's blind.
Yeah, there you go. All right, well, before we get going with it, a quick g'day to Hugster and Radicus, who have joined us live. Unfortunately, today was just one of those flat-out days where I didn't know which way was up, so I wasn't able to build much hype for recording this evening, but thank you guys for jumping in. It's always appreciated. For those listening along at home, don't forget to join our Discord. Links are in the show notes below. Come and say g'day. You can listen to us live. You can then find out what these little quips are when one of us goes, what the hell is that? Because something weird's been put up in the chat. Yes. Greg.
Yes.
Window shopping, mate.
Window shopping.
What weird and wonderful thing have you got for us this week?
All right. Well, I've got a game called Immortal Planet. Now, for some people out there, you might be going, I know that game. And you probably would be right. Okay. It's been on Steam. It's been available on Steam since 2017, but it's now being released on PlayStation, Xbox, and Switch. So it's an action RPG. It's an isometric Souls-like game. It's described as challenging combat, which rewards patience and punishes recklessness. Typical Souls. But the idea is you've got to explore an icy planet that has a society of immortals that are stuck in this cycle of rebirth, and you have to fight to discover the mystery of the planet and to escape its curse. If you like Souls-like games, you like isometric action RPGs. I like isometric action RPGs. One in particular.
I do as well, but I don't like Souls-like.
But Souls-like really ruins it for me.
Out of me.
Yeah. So, yes. So anyway, that's what I've got this week. It looks kind of cool. It's got a very minimalistic sort of graphic style, but it kind of works towards the game. And I guess part of the reason for that was it allowed other people on Steam. You didn't have to have the latest or greatest computer to play it. You could you'd have a lesser computer and still play what essentially is, from what I can tell, a pretty good game.
All right. So what's it called again?
It is called Immortal Planet.
Immortal Planet.
Yes, and I didn't pick up how much it was. I guess that's probably the crux of window shopping. Let me have a quick look. Sorry.
See if you can find it there anyway.
Oh, yeah, it shouldn't take me too long. 50% off on Steam at the moment. So, let's see what it is on Steam. Great podcasting, right? You know what? Just forget it. Don't worry about it. Let's just let it go. Look, just check it out. That's all I can say.
G'day everyone, Editing Lucas here, just helping out with that price. It's $21.50 Australian. It's currently not 50% off as suggested. It probably was at the time of recording, but it's not anymore. $21.50, back to the show.
Check it out. That's what I'm here for. Just tell you to check it out.
So that little summary, yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah, makes sense?
Cool. Makes sense. Yep.
Cool.
Sweet.
All right. Awesome.
All right, no worries. Well, we're going to jump into some game talk this week. It's a bit of a short week this week.
Yeah, it is.
Neither of us have done much. You've been plugging away at a bit more Minecraft. I haven't played Minecraft in ages because my Xbox Live ran out, and there's just no point. There's very little that I play on my Xbox at the moment.
Yep.
And then my Nintendo one ran out as well.
Ooh.
And so they were the two that I had Minecraft on. And my eldest is still playing Minecraft, but I've just sort of left it by the wayside.
So
anything new?
Well, I was going to say, you came around the other day and I actually showed you around the realm that I play in.
Yes.
So before I sort of go into anything new, because I have actually done something new this week in it, but how about what are your thoughts of the realm? Because
it reminds me of some of those realms that you see a lot of YouTubers show around. That everyone's, that there's a lot of people on there that are very invested in it.
Yeah.
And so it's kind of like a little online community. And the Aussie Gamers realm that we had is fantastic and a good group of people on there.
Yep.
But it just it hasn't had the longevity that the other one that you're on has.
Yes.
So it's very intense. Like there's a lot in it.
Yeah, like you said, there's been a few people that have been obviously on the realm for a while, and especially the person that owns the realm, he's obviously very invested in it. And one of his hobbies on Minecraft is essentially terraforming and building big sort of set pieces, I guess you could say. In a case in point, when I showed you our sea monument, I mean, that thing is epic.
Yep. Even the fact that they've terraformed the Nether.
Yes.
There's a section of the Nether that looks like the overworld. Like it's ridiculous the amount of work that's been put into it.
Yes. So that's yes, it is. It's very invested, and I guess that's kind of what I like about it. And I like the fact that we're very community driven. There's not a great deal of rivalry or anything like that. It's all very work together, help out where you can, especially with those bigger set pieces. He's not afraid to sort of come and say, hey, look, I'm doing this. Can someone come and help me, slab out an area or do something along those lines and, help him get the job done. And that's kind of why he invited people in because, he needed help with that kind of stuff. But at the same time, he knows that we all have our own projects that we want to work on and he's more than happy to help us and everyone is a bit that way. My latest project is the guy who owned the realm has just created his own mob farm, and it's pretty big. It's massive. We had to move it away from the camp. He started building it near where our hub is, and the lag that just came out of it was amazing. So we had to move it very, very far away, and it's quite good. Like it creates a lot of materials for us. One of them being gunpowder. And he saw my single tick sugarcane farm and the amount of paper I now have. It's coming out my ears. It's literally exploding out of my castle. So he said, well, I've got a stack of gunpowder. You got a stack of paper. How about we make rockets together and we make a rocket shop? So I'm like, cool. Sounds amazing. Let's do that. So he's been away for the last week or so. So literally my little project in between packing when I finally do have a moment to sit down and this is why I kind of been playing Minecraft, because I can really chunk it out, is essentially I've built a shop that's the shape of a rocket. Once again, that's not a very original idea. Lots of people have done it before, but mine has a little bit that sticks out the front. It actually looks a bit like a lighthouse in shape, but the lighthouse structure at the back is a rocket. So so I've made the shop, and on top of that, I've also been farming the gunpowder and just making a large stockpile of rockets. So when we open, we have more than enough, and people don't just buy us out. But he came up with this kind of unique concept. Well, it's not unique. It's just an interesting concept that I've seen in real life, but not seen in a Minecraft structure. So, when you've got your gas bottles for your barbecue, you've got the swap and go thing. You just rock up, give them the empty one, and you take a full one. Well, we're doing the same thing with shulker boxes. So we've got a whole bunch of white shulker boxes, which we've labeled swap and go rockets. And what you do is you hand in, you put a deposit down for a shulker box, and then you buy the rockets. And all you do is you drop off an empty shulker box, pick up a full one, and keep going. Cool. So we're doing a bit of a swap and go thing. So
that's pretty cool.
That's essentially been my little project for the week.
Oh, good. So you're sorting out the house and you're sorting out the the realm as well.
Yeah. Look, like I said, it's a small job because I just don't have much time at the moment. But look, I've got it done. He's got to be pretty happy with that. So.
All right. Well, I finished 3 games this week. They're 3 that I've been kind of working on simultaneously, and the first one is Call of Duty. So I finished the campaign in Call of Duty now. That's brilliant. Absolutely brilliant.
Nice.
And the way that it finishes, if you've got it and you haven't played the campaign, you really need to. I can tell how storytelling's evolved over the past, 10 years.
Yep.
Because it doesn't have those hard-hitting... There's a lot of things that are going on that are sort of wow moments where they're, this sort of shit happens in war.
Yep.
And having it there in front of you, whether we're more desensitized to it now or not, is probably part of it. But I can remember playing Modern Warfare back when it was Call of Duty 4 and having those edge of the seat, holy shit moments. And they were kind of missing in this one, if it makes sense. It's brilliant. Don't get me wrong. The story's brilliant, and there is a few moments where you go, shit, and you look at things that are happening. But those sort of heart-wrenching gut punch of a moments that we've had in other Call of Duty titles, they weren't in this one. Yep. Well, I didn't feel them anyway. So, it could be a sign of the times that it's just not written the same way. Obviously, no Russian is never going to happen again. But that was a massive holy shit moment. You know what I mean? But yeah, there's sort of other things, and there's other, we always liken it to previous titles, but there's those big twist moments as well that it was lacking in that respect. But that doesn't deject from how brilliant the story actually is. The way that it tied up, the way that they finished it, the way that they left it open. How does it fit in? Well, I know how it fits in because I finished it, but I'm not going to tell anyone. It's brilliant. You need to play through it. Don't be like me that's got 30-odd hours worth of multiplayer and hadn't finished the story.
Oh, no. I've always been guilty of, I do not touch multiplayer until I've finished. And I mean, well and truly, spanked the campaign. I'll have played it 3 times before I even get the multiplayer.
I'm usually like that, where I play, the story more so than the multiplayer.
Yep.
But this one, the multiplayer has absolutely just grabbed a hold of me. I'm now level 56. The season resets tomorrow. So from level 55 to 155, it just gets wiped, and you go back to level 55, and then the next season starts.
Yep.
And you've got your officer ranks. And with those officer ranks, you get different little things like, I think it's different gun skins, different blueprints for guns. Yes, Radicus. Radicus is level 64. Radicus and Luke had quite a bit of time together in the double XP weekend that's just gone. and absolutely flogged it. When I jumped on and saw that they were both in front of me, I just thought, this is just not good. It's not fair. It's not right. Yeah, it's still on till tonight. It's got a couple of hours left as we're recording this, but it will be finishing up in time for a big drop of information happen, or a drop of new season tomorrow. And I believe there's a big update to go with it, but I'll have more on that during the week. You'll see some updates as that goes live.
So what I was going to say before I got sort of distracted with the other comments. So the whole no Russian thing, right?
Yes.
So, okay. I'll preface this by saying I haven't played this game yet. I want to, and I will, and I want to. I want to understand this for myself. However,
once you're settled in, I'll bring it over.
I was reading an article about it, and they, from their point of view, they said there was a point in the game that sort of had that same sort of idea. It may not have been the same level of in-your-faceness that No Russian was, where you're literally just murdering a bunch of civilians. But he said there was still this like level of, I guess, you playing the bad guy, I guess, for a moment.
Okay, yeah, I think I know what you're talking about.
Yeah.
Or what they were talking about.
Yeah,
but
I like I said, I don't know, but anyway, they said there was still this element of it, and they said their biggest problem with it is that, and you're right, games have evolved and storytelling has evolved. They actually thought, from their point of view, that it's no longer good enough to just put those things in for the sake of, this is just because this is what happens in war. Because we're kind of past that. That's what No Russian was. They put it in there and they're like, to shock you and to go...
Yeah. That was a shock moment. And that's why you had the opportunity to skip it.
Yeah, but there was no other reason for it being in there. Like I said, you could skip it and the story made sense.
Yeah.
Right? It had no storytelling value whatsoever. It was just there as a shock tactic. Right.
Yep.
And I guess their point of view was it's no longer good enough to be able to just say we're going to put those in there for shock value anymore. It goes, one, we're past that and we're sort of desensitized to it. And enough people have done it now where we are kind of desensitized to it.
If it's the moment of the game that I'm thinking of, whoever's written that to be a negative thing is a little bitch. Okay,
cool. I was asking by the end of that statement, I was going to ask what your opinion was of. But at the same time, I also want to play it to work it out for myself. I was just curious about it. When I read it, I went, I understand what they're saying, but I haven't played it, so I can't say.
Yeah, if it's the bit that they're talking about, I can't say much about it because it will spoil, but the way that it unfolds and the way that you interact with that scene is very well done. And it's part of the story. It's part of what happens, and it doesn't matter what side of the fence you're on. And it's not like it was put in there as, this is what happens in war, so we need to put it in. They're being a little bitch. That's the only way I can describe it.
Okay.
I think it plays out like the first time I played No Russian, and it was this I was a young bloke, mid-20s. Yep. Yeah, sweet, let's go. And it floored me. And I don't think I actually fired a bullet. It wasn't a joke. It wasn't this thing that I just walked in, it's only a video game. No, there was none of that. I didn't actually fire a bullet because when I realized, what was happening, it was just this thing that come up, would you like to skip? No, I don't want to skip. I'm a freaking adult. I can deal with this. Yeah, let's go. And the first time I played it through, I didn't fire a bullet. And it still just played through it. That floored me. And this one, I got this, there was still that sense there of what's going on, what's happening, and it's exceptionally well done. If I'm thinking of the right thing, I could be thinking about something completely different.
Yeah, sure.
I reckon I'm pretty spot on.
Yeah.
But, look, exceptionally well done. Whoever does the voice of Captain Price, hats off. The acting that Price does in this game is brilliant. The way that he acts, the way that his tone changes in his voice and it tells a story, or he's sitting on Overwatch, or just that interactivity between him and your character, it's very well done. I can't commend it enough. It is such a well-made story. I'll be going back to play it again. Oh my god, found a young picker Luke. There we go.
Dude, sort of halfway through you trying to explain that, and you're all being serious and shit, and I'm like choking on my laughter. It's like, don't laugh, this is serious.
This is serious, don't listen to that.
So I get to say, screw you, Radicus, for pulling that shit on me.
Yes, thank you, Radicus. While we're going as well, I've just noticed that Kaz and Martikins have jumped in. G'day, boys. Jesus Christ. Oh, all right. Another game that I have finished this week is on the Switch, and that is Trine 4. So I finally made my way through it. Sorry, what?
Trine for what?
So
never gets old.
4. Yeah, never gets old.
Nope.
That's good. Yeah, listen. What? Okay. Trine 4. Trine 4. It builds up.
Mm-hmm.
The review that I put up. There's these boss fights for the sake of boss fights, but it ties everything really in together to finish it off. If that makes sense. So it gives you this. It gives you this nice feeling of accomplishment at the end. Now, for something that is, I'm playing it on the Switch. Whenever I play the Switch, I've never actually played it on the TV. My kids have many, many times. I've only ever played the Switch in handheld mode. And the fact that I can sit there and get so drawn into a game that's on, a screen that's not much bigger than my mobile phone, and the story's really well done, the characters are really well done, the puzzles, you sort of sit there. There's a couple where it actually made me scratch my head, and it all ties in well. It does kind of feel a little bit repetitive towards the end of it, but the beauty of the game and just that easy flowing story just gets you through it all. It's really quite good. Can't recommend it enough. If you're a fan of the Trine series, or even if you just like platformers, you don't really need to have played any of the other Trines to get it. It's kind of its own little standalone story. You just don't get the backstory, I suppose.
Yep.
It's well worth a try. And it's a good bit of fun as well.
And it's quite a pretty game too.
Oh, it is stunning.
Yeah. Absolutely
stunning. And, there's no hindrance playing it on the Switch.
Yeah. Cool.
None at all. It feels, I think I've said it before, that sitting up playing it on the TV, like on a PlayStation or an Xbox or even the PC, I don't know if it'd feel the same. It kind of feels like it's made for the Switch. It feels like it, just the controls and everything, it feels perfect on the Switch. All right, mate. The last one from me that I have finished what I'm going to say is one of the best games that I have played in a long time. It is one of the best games that I've played in a long time, and so many people will not get through it, and I don't know who to recommend it to.
Yeah, okay. Yep.
That game is Death Stranding. So
really? I thought you were going to say Destiny 2, but I'm sorry.
Destiny 2, I couldn't get through Destiny 2. I'm not paying another $60-odd for that.
Sorry.
Death Stranding. So I finished the story. It took me just over 40 hours to do it. I understand now with Lucas's review, it outstayed its welcome. Now, it didn't outstay its welcome in the fact that I didn't want to finish it. It outstayed its welcome in that it should have finished about 10 hours earlier than it needed to.
Kind of.
It was just
opposite of RDR2, where it just didn't start for 10 hours.
Exactly, yeah. There was just this chunk, like there's enough of a story there that it keeps you rolling.
Yep.
But there's just a section where, and it works with the story.
Yep.
And it works with what you've got to do, and it's kind of in that middle meat of the game where it slows down but it tenses up.
Yeah.
And there just kind of starts to feel like there's this stretching out for the sake of stretching out. Like something where after one or two of these sort of missions, it would have been fine, but there was, 6 or 7 of these missions, these types of missions that were just repetitive, same sort of thing, going along, doing this to get this, and it worked, and it all works in with the story, and it's just took too long, took way too long. They could have shortened it up a bit. I still don't know who to recommend it to. I would love to get your thoughts on it, but I don't think you would make 10 hours.
Yeah. Look, it sounds like the way you guys keep describing the ending, I just I can't help but feel that sounds infuriating. That's the thing that comes to my mind. I go, this sounds so infuriating.
It's this weird thing because part of it is infuriating. And the very ending is a spit in the face. Like, if Kojima was there, it's kind of like one of those things where you and I, at the end of certain movies, have both gone, fucking Scorsese.
Yep.
It's just that grit sort of part. And it's just certain parts of it. But the way that Death Stranding actually finishes and ends, it got me.
Yeah.
It absolutely kicked me in the guts. It was really well done. It was really well wrapped up, and the only issue was that drawn-out ending phase, which was like this elongated credit roll, and then it finished after that. And it was just, that bit was painful because it was one of those things too where you needed to interact with it. You couldn't have just left it and walked off and come back because it was all parts of the story that were wrapping up, and then it would stop, and you'd get, like, it was cutscenes. Well, you know what Hideo and cutscenes are like. You'd get back to having a bit of movement, and you'd move around, and then it'd go to cutscene again. You're like, okay, stop. And then the cutscene would finish, and you'd go back, and there'd be more credits flashing up, and then another cutscene would start, and you're like, okay, wait. Like, okay, it's getting close to midnight. All right, this is getting long. Ooh. Okay. And it just kind of keeps going and keeps going and keeps going.
Yep.
But I implore anyone that's up to it, just finish it, get through it. You've got to get through it. And if you're getting close to the story, to the ending of the story, like after chapter 3, there's 14 chapters. After chapter 3, the completion rate in the because you get a trophy for each chapter.
Yep.
The completion rate in the trophies drops off dramatically to the point where I think chapter 14 is like an ultra rare, like 1.6%.
Wow.
It's a big drop off. But I can't recommend it enough that more and more people need to finish it.
Yeah.
But it's one of those things where I would love, and, you know, I'll talk to Lucas about it and maybe do a spoiler cast or something where we can, you know, completely and utterly blurt out what's going on, and then people can choose whether to listen to it or not. I'm trying to put a bit of a video together, kind of like an afterthought review, something a bit of a different from my point of view, and that'll just sort of, if I can get the time together this week to finalise it, I will. But yeah, I kind of I want to tell people, and I want to recommend to people that to push through it and to get through it, because I kind of feel like you need to experience the whole thing. But on the other hand as well, I can completely understand why people would just throw the controller down and go, I'm done. That would be fine by me. I understand people doing that as well. So it's weird. It's one of the best games I've played in a long time. I can't exactly tell you why.
Yeah, fair enough. Look, maybe over the Christmas break, I should make some time for it and at least give it a crack.
Yep.
Because, you know, I can probably assume that this is probably not going to be my jam, but, you know, no. At the same time, I'll give it a crack and we'll see I'm happy to give you my thoughts on the game itself, because I should be, you know, if I give it a little bit of time, I should be at least be able to get a feel for what the game is and how it plays, and really those are important things of a game, and they're critical.
First mission has you taking a body to the incinerator.
Wow.
Right? Yeah.
How cheerful.
Yeah, it's yeah. There's even more behind that, but we'll let you look at it later on. Yeah, and to be honest with you, I'd be surprised if that didn't frustrate you.
Yeah.
Because if you think about it, right?
Yep.
You think about you or me carrying someone that is, you know, 5'10", wrapped up in a body bag on your back.
Oh, body bag.
But if you can sort of picture it, and, you know, it'll get caught in the wind. You're walking along at that point of the game. You're only able to carry, you know, 150 kilos or something, which is still a fair bloody weight. And you know, this movement that you've got to cross a river, you've got to go up a mountainside, you've got to climb up rocks, and you've got to do all this sort of stuff. And then you've got to you've got to worry about the weather, because there's sections in it where it's raining, so the ground's slippery. You know, there's all these little things that come in together that it it does an exceptional job of teaching you the game mechanics very early on, but it's also frustrating as hell because you're fighting this thing on your back that's trying to throw you over because you've got to work out the weight balance and everything. And it's, yeah.
You are not selling this game to me. The more you guys talk about it, the more I'm just like, oh my God, this sounds horrific.
Because if there's anyone out there that knows what you're going to play, it's going to be me. And I know, I can imagine you sitting there and that little red line just getting higher and higher. And, it's a brilliant game. I really don't think it's up your alley, though.
Yeah, no, I suggest you give me an old controller because it's going to crack.
It's not quite that infuriating, but there are moments. There are moments. And it's a new game. It's a new style. And it's definitely story-driven.
Yep.
And it definitely works on the relationship that you build with the character and the characters within the world, how they interact with your character, Sam. Like it all revolves around that and that build as opposed to just outright gameplay. It's really just a new experience. It's something different. It's something good, but it's not for everyone. Yeah,
look, like I said, I should give it a crack. Because I like story-driven games, and especially when they're good stories. Like, I really didn't want to play The Last of Us, but I'm so glad I did.
Yeah,
because that game was amazing, and that is the reason that I pushed myself to play particular games that I just sit there and go, no, I don't think I'm cut out for this game, but because there was nothing that appealed to me about The Last of Us from the outset, and it wasn't until Rem put it in my console and went, here, play this. Because I want to watch you play it, that I sort of went, oh, okay. But then just couldn't put it down. So
we've both got some time off over Christmas, so you come over and we'll stream it because then it'll be funny if you lose your shit.
Yes. Yes, of course.
All right. Any other things to go on with? That's it for me for game-wise this week.
I've been continuing on with the Heat Studio. That's also another thing that I can just do every 5 minutes or so. Just pick up a car and play with it. So that's fun. Still. Other than that, yeah, I've been catching up on some Netflix. Actually, that's the bigger thing. When I've had free time, it's more just switch my brain off and watch Netflix. So.
That's good. Yeah, I enjoy that. Mind you, Disney Plus, Mandalorian.
Yeah. Is it good?
Oh yes. And it's even better with no kids, no wife at home, and 2012 watts of surround sound cranked.
To be fair, you can say that about anything that's on your TV.
This is true.
Yep.
This is true. But there was that, and then there was other Star Wars that was put on. And then I finished it off with some Family Guy. So it was a good Saturday, albeit the neuron trip to the hospital, but that's all right. All right, mate. Well, let's jump into some news. And on the show last week, have you listened to the show last week yet?
Not yet.
Not yet. On the show last week, I had just picked up the Jungle Cat from Razer.
Yes.
Now, the Jungle Cat is a portable dual-sided gaming controller for Android mobile phones. So it effectively turns your mobile phone into a Nintendo Switch. It's got two connectors on the side which literally come off like Joy-Cons. They've got another little controller that you can put your mobile phone up against something and use it like a controller and go nuts with it. One problem so far that I've had with it, so I've been playing with it for about a week, and it doesn't work with much. It's really upsetting because what it was work with, it works exceptionally well with. But it doesn't work with Call of Duty Mobile. I've been into the settings of Call of Duty. There is an option in there for a controller, but it just does not pick up. Whether it's a compatibility thing or what, I'm not sure. It doesn't work with PUBG Mobile. I can get the camera to move and I can get a select button to work, but nothing else works. So this, if you picture it, if you haven't seen any pictures yet, it looks like just a standard gamepad, right? So a standard controller sort of thing. There's a Crazy Taxi version. So you get an application that you can download for your mobile phone, which is the Razer gamepad app, and it's got a whole lot of games that are compatible with it. So things like Grand Theft Auto that you can play on your mobile now, that's compatible with it. There's a few dogfight games like in a plane, some twin stick shooters, a crazy taxi style thing, a few racing games. They all work exceptionally well, but those big shooters, which is something that I was really hoping to, because I completely and utterly suck using a touchpad. I thought, oh yeah, I'll get on and show some people up. I'll have a controller and they'll be just using touchpad. Yeah, it didn't work. It's unfortunate. I haven't been able to try Fortnite as yet, though, because Fortnite you don't actually download off the Google Store. At least I can't download it off the Google Store. You've got to go and get a third-party installer, which, to be honest with you, I'm not really a fan of. And considering that I have the first generation of Razer phone, which hasn't been updated since May last year, I think was the last update they released. So it's quite old, the security updates and the actual Android updates. So, getting a third-party installer, it's worrisome a little bit. Other than that, I'm working on I'm finalising the review this week. It should be up in the next few days. So you get to see my buff head on YouTube again.
We love it.
As I'm sure a lot of people are looking forward to. So keep an eye out for that on our YouTube channel. Over on Twitter, you'll see links and everything to it. And, of course, there'll be links up on our Facebook page and Discord, all the usual places. Greg.
Yes.
Hugster, Kazza, Martikins, Radicus. Any of you guys been to Oz Comic Con?
No.
You ever been to Comic Con? I can't say I've ever been to Comic Con. I've always thought that's probably just a little bit more nerdy than I'm willing to go.
Well, yeah, and as much as I like comics and I like that kind of stuff, I'm not a hardcore fan. I wouldn't classify myself as a hardcore fan. Like if you ask me a question about, I can tell you who my favorite superheroes are. But if you ask me to know the inner details of their breakfast, I couldn't tell you. Or their middle names or any of that bullshit. So, it's bullshit to me. It's not bullshit to these people. It's their genuine interest and hobby.
And we're on the other side of the fence with video games as opposed to comics. And I've always thought that my real nerdy passion is actually cars. It's not really comics. And my gaming life comes out in that quite frankly, because I play lots of car games. Even to the ones that most people find boring, I eat them up. So yeah. Alrighty. Well, in a tweet from ReadPop this week, who were the owners of Oz Comic Con, to our fans, we have some big news to share regarding Oz Comic Con. Following 6 years of pop culture celebration and fun, we have made the difficult decision to divest Oz Comic Con to Expertise Events, one of Australia's leading consumer event organisers. Expertise Events are well positioned to take over Oz Comic Con and to share your pop culture passion with. We would like to thank everyone who has attended and been part of this amazing journey. You gave us the opportunity to celebrate our pop culture obsessions with the best fans in the world, and for that we'll be forever grateful. The decision to sell our Oz Comic Con events is not a reflection of the hard work of the team, the support of our exhibitors, or the passion of our fans. It is time to let another team take the reins, but know that we will miss you and we wish each and every one of you the very best for the future. From Read Pop Australia. So they've sold on to Expertise Events. Generally, a lot of people would be so happy to see something like Oz Comic Con going to another event company who has a passion for it and is looking at helping it grow. There's been a lot of people concerned. I don't think the concerns are really necessary. I do think that going to someone who has the expertise that Expertise Events has, it's in the name. Who would have thunk it? It's the
and that's not always a good sign.
The company's most consistent event in 2019 was the Craft and Quilt Fair.
Oh yes, that was a rager too.
Yeah. So this is where, and it's one of those things where it's just they're two very different ends of the spectrum, and that's where people are worried. I just say I think it'll take steps forward, leaps and bounds. I'm sure they've got a bit of information, a bit of background in getting these celebrities involved and getting them on board, getting them out here to Australia, which is part of the bloody problem anyway, being we're so far away. I think it'll be positive.
Yeah, look, I think that's only one of many things that an event company has to worry about, and a lot of the things that are important to worry about in that instance, and making a good event are pretty universal across events where lots of people have to attend. Managing crowds, the logistics behind that doesn't change. All those things have to be dealt with, and that's more critical because you can have all the best stuff in the world. If that's not done, it's going to be a terrible event.
Reed Popper's also clarified that PAX Australia is not affected by the sale. So they're still hanging on to that side of it. You're 100% right. And, hey, let's be honest. If you go to something like PAX or you go to I'm sure it's the same as Comic-Con, and they charge $7 for a bottle of water. People that go to the Craft and Quilt Fair won't pay $7 for a bottle of water. So maybe that'll bring somewhere in the middle. Maybe we'll get some better deals out of it.
But I'm just warning you, if it comes out next year and it's renamed to FireCon, buyer beware.
And over in the chat, apparently Radicus would get arrested at his age for being a pervert. I don't think so, Radicus. It just depends on what costume you wear, I guess.
Just go as Hirachi. You'll be right, mate. Some Li Xiao Yu will want to have a photo with you and you'll be good.
You'll be all set.
You'll be set.
And Martikins hasn't been either. So I think Kaz has, but Kaz is probably working, just listening to us on the backs, on the headphones. PS Plus and Games with Gold have been released, mate.
Ooh, I can't wait.
Can't wait. PS Plus, Titanfall 2 and Monster Energy Supercross.
Giddy up.
Yeah, so nice Supercross title. Titanfall 2 is one of the most underrated shooters out there.
Exactly. It's an amazing
I think that's an amazing game. And, made by, was it Respawn?
Was it Respawn? I think so. Yeah,
it's Respawn. Yeah. Same guys who do Apex Legends, because let's face it, Apex is set in the Titanfall world. And, an absolutely awesome game. If you haven't played it yet, get stuck into it. The Monster Energy Supercross, yes, Radicus says you'll give that a try. I reckon that'll be a lot of fun. I've played a few Supercross games over the years, and while it's never been my thing, I don't really follow the sport itself. It's they're always good to just see what you can destroy. So they will be out and live by the time this goes live. And then over on the other side of the fence with Games with Gold, you have Insane Robots for the first half of the month, and then Jurassic World Evolution for the second part of the month. Jurassic World Evolution, I've got that on the PC.
Is it any good?
It is fantastic. I don't know how it will convert to a controller, though. It's brilliant. Keyboard and mouse, fantastic, because it's pretty much an RTS.
Right.
So with a controller, it would be a different challenge.
Look, there are ways and means of getting that to work. So
yes, there is. There's lots of different ways to do it now. So make sure you jump on and check them out. On the 360 side, you've got, and these are backwards compatible, of course, Toy Story 3, always good for the kids.
I already downloaded
it. Castlevania Lord of Shadow. Yeah, an old school Castlevania. They're always fun. One for Dad. How about that, eh? Dad. Sweet. Well, that's all I've got for news-wise. I've got a bit of a discussion piece for you.
Let's do it.
And I wanted to get your thoughts on it. So today, floating around the interwebs, there was another leak for the PS5 Dev Kit.
Mm-hmm.
Now, this particular leak showed two PS5 Dev Kits sitting side by side with the big V shape in the top of them, and they looked massive. Like, you go back to the old PS3 fat 60 gig thing, and it had nothing on these, and that was a big console.
Yep.
So it had them, and it had what was supposedly the DualShock 5 controller. Take it with a grain of salt. What the final product's going to be, we're not going to know. It's only a dev kit. No one really cares. my discussion point, there you go, Radicus has just put something up in the podcast live chat for people to have a look at. I've got it over on my Twitter as well. The question that I have for you, I'd like to get your thoughts on it. We've seen all this stuff leaking for the PS5. We've seen nothing for the Xbox. Any thoughts on why?
That's look, there's probably lots of answers you can come up with for that one. If you want to be cynical, you can just say it's not that good, no one cares. If you want to... Either that or, Xbox just has a tighter grip on what's going on with their... Or maybe, I haven't heard, are the dev kits even out yet? I would assume so, because they've got will be this time next year, we'll be looking at them being released. So surely there'll be games being made right now. So, or maybe they're doing it a different way and they're getting them to do the bulk of the work on PC. I don't know. And their
dev kit could just be a PC tower.
It could, literally there's nothing to show. Like, they've just wrapped it up in a PC tower and that's the end of it kind of scenario.
G'day, Editing Lucas here again. Now, just quickly want to touch on something that I don't think a lot of people are aware of and probably don't think about too often, is that these dev kits for new consoles are not what they make the games on. Greg did touch on the fact that they probably use PCs, and that's correct. Almost 100% of games made these days are developed on PCs, and then they use dev kits to debug and make sure that a game is optimized to work on that said console. That's how it works. Anyway, thank you. Back to the show.
Look,
Do you want to hear a very twisted thought on it?
Sure.
Now, the release of the PS4 Pro and the Xbox One X definitely left Sony with a bit of egg on their face, and that in regards to pretty much down to the base element, the specs of it and what it could do. And now that they sort of, I would have to agree with a lot of people that it's they rushed it. They rushed the release of the PS4 Pro, and when Xbox came out, I reckon they might have rejigged a few things and sort of stepped it up above so that they had more power than it.
Yep.
That's what I think. I'm seeing all these leaks, and half of me goes, is this someone from PlayStation trying to bait Xbox into releasing details of was it the Scarlet?
Yeah.
Yeah, trying to get details of the Scarlet released early. Trying to play that tit for tat sort of thing. Like, it's them going, hey, because let's face it, we're in a stalemate at the moment.
Yeah.
There's this sort of thing where you've had, XO19's just happened, and people thought we were going to get a bit more information of it then, whether it be a name or more specs or anything like that. We've got the PlayStation Experience coming up in, 2 weeks? A week?
Yep.
Or so. We don't know what's happening then. There's thoughts that they might release details on the controller. And then, they're kind of in this holding pattern until E3 next year. But E3 is June, isn't it?
Yep.
Yeah. And then, so you've only got 6 months until Christmas, and that's when they want to release it.
Yep.
It just, I don't know. I feel like we're in this who's going to go first sort of moment.
Well, to be fair, if both of them are smart, they'll shut up until E3.
Yes.
Personally.
I think so as well.
They both need to shut up until E3.
Mm-hmm.
Because, I'm sorry, coming out this late, this far from like 12 months away and starting to build hype now, by the time you get to E3, people are going, yeah, we've heard all this. Now all we really want to know is what's true and what does it look like.
Yep.
There'll be really no mystery to it. There'd be no mystery to it. It's just show us it because we're sick of hearing about it. But then at the same time, if that's really what's happening, PlayStation's trying to milk something out of Microsoft. This is about as ham-fisted an attempt as any.
Well, that's why I don't think it's actually Sony. Like, if you look at, PlayStation and the PlayStation executive team, so for instance, I don't think it's them.
No.
I think it's something else behind the scenes, whether it be, a smaller part of that PlayStation family
Yeah.
is using it just as a bit of a bait.
Yeah, but
it could be
there's. I mean, you might be right, but like I said, it's kind of ham-fisted because there's nothing. There's no upshot for someone on the Microsoft side to announce anything or give any more detail. If they're at level, then there's nothing to say, and if they're better, why would they show their hand before? Well, especially when they still have time to potentially
100%.
match it. So
100%.
So yeah, I think it's all. I think it is what it is. I think I just look at it at face value. Someone got eager. Someone took some photos and went, "Hey, look at me!" Got their 15 minutes of fame, and then got their dev kit taken off them. So
Yes, if Sony would like to send me one to try out, I will not take any photos of it. I'll bring certain people around to have a look, but no one will take photos of it.
That's right.
That's all right. Bradicus has put up a photo in the live chat and said that they're ugly. I really like them. I don't like the color scheme on them. I think that needs a tweak, but the actual physical, the V shape, I really do like. Martikins, no. Now seeing them like that, they don't look that big, but in the picture that I saw them before, they looked massive.
Yeah, when you look at because you've got a controller sitting on top of it, that's a big unit.
It's still a big unit when you compare it to the current ones.
Yeah, yes. I'm still not fussed on it. I mean, if that was legitimately what it was going to be when it was released, I'd be like, yeah, whatever. But I'm not wowed by it at the same time.
I'd put one in my lounge room.
Yeah, that's fair.
But you said it before, though. Let's be honest. It could look like a disc, and I'd probably still enjoy it. But I really do. It could be
a poo emoji, and you still buy
it. Yeah, probably. So. It's a V for 5 for Roman. Yes.
Yes, correct.
Yeah.
Good old Sherlock Holmes. We love you, Radicus. I wonder whether the dev kit for the Xbox is just an X for 10 because it's twice as good as a 5. Booyah!
Yeah, booyah!
Sorry, that one's for you, Uncle Chad.
Isn't that why they called it the Xbox 360? Because it was the PS3, and they didn't want to go to the Xbox 2, and then everything just got thrown up when it just went back to the Xbox box.
Xbox box X box one. Box Xbox.
Well, mate, unless you've had anything else pop into your head, that is the show.
I've got a couple of releases for the week.
Actually, yes, you do. Before we jump into that, anyone that's listening, check out the links below to jump onto our Discord. Tell us what you think about all these leaks and see where you think it's going. So I'd love to hear more people give me their feedback and their thoughts, because I'm a nuisance, so I could see myself doing something like that, of releasing it and just being a little baiting prick. But I understand where Gretch is coming from as well. Lucas would probably have some other different random thing that he goes on to, but I'd like to hear your thoughts, so make sure you jump in.
Got to get that rumor mill flowing.
Let's
make up some rumors. Let's get some.
Yes.
Let's make some fake news.
Fake news. You tell me your fake news. We'll organise a very baity title for it, and we'll put it on the web somewhere.
Actually, the best fake news. If we get some really good fake news, I reckon best fake news. We read it out next week.
That sounds
on the last show of the year.
That sounds like a plan.
The Game of the Year show.
We'll read it out on the Game of the Year show. See where it goes.
Yep. Read it out.
All right, mate. What have you... we won't tell anyone.
No.
What have you got for coming out this week?
All right. So nothing groundbreaking, as in great new games, because while there's a flood of new games coming out, there's nothing massive in the world. However, we've got some sort of re-releases on new platforms and stuff like that, which I think are worth mentioning. So on the 5th of December, we've got RDR2 is coming out on Steam. So if you've been literally waiting for the PC version on Steam, now's your chance.
Go and buy a PlayStation or Xbox, because it's much better over there.
Yep.
It is apparently riddled with bugs, so much so to the point that anyone who buys it on Steam is getting all this free shit in game because, like, it's a sorry moment, you know.
You know, maybe it's worth buying anyway, just for the free shit.
Hey! At 1080-60, it will look immaculate.
I was going to say it'll look amazing as long as you sit there and use it as a screensaver and not play it. Just take screen caps so you've got mad screen like background pictures for the rest of the year.
Yeah.
Alien Isolation is coming to the Switch.
I saw that.
Yeah.
And I
thought no.
No. Yeah, I did think no, because I just thought that game was frightening enough, you know, without being pulled in. Like the Switch, anything I play on the Switch, it pulls me into it because it's this little screen and you kind of end up getting closer to it and whatnot. And it's not just, you know, sit back at a desk, you move further back from the screen, put your feet up on the chair, whatever. You're right there into it. I'd twist the freaking thing in half. You know, it's not that alien would jump out at me, and even just it walking past with, you know, every bit in your body tensing up because you're waiting for it to jump at you.
Yep.
I'd destroy
it. Cool. So if someone wants to watch Snoogs' Switch fly across the room, you know which game to buy.
Yeah.
And on December 6th, and this is the one that I'm actually a little bit excited for, this is a re-release, not on a new console, but a re-release of a old game on a new system. Halo Reach is going to be on Xbox One.
Oh, yes.
So
Halo on the Xbox One?
Yes.
I thought it was already on the Xbox One.
No. So it's...
No.
This no.
Okay.
Not yet.
Because I know it was coming to Game Pass.
So, yeah, so it's... You can get it on 360. You can get it backwards compatible. But I think this is the remaster that's attached to the Master Chief Collection, I believe.
Oh, okay. Because I've got the Master Chief Collection. That's probably why I was saying it.
Probably.
Yeah. Okay. Cool.
Well, yeah. Just I was going to say, I've just been using my and it's probably one of the few 360 games, like physical copy games that I still play on the Xbox One.
You know, I don't think I ever have. Shame on me.
It's good. It's really good.
Maybe if someone can cut me in half and make two of me. There's plenty to go around. I can get some more game time in. That'll be good.
Yeah.
That'll just have a month off work. That'll be better. God, that'd be good. All right. Anything else, mate? Before I start rammering onto myself.
That's it. That's it for the week for releases. Yes.
All righty. Well, on to some last words. Any last words, mate?
I don't have any shout outs. The Halo Reach is for the Master Chief Collection.
Cool.
And you can pick it up for $10.
Bargain.
Yeah, it's a bargain. But yeah, no, I'm just looking forward to. So I'll be away. So next week's show, while you guys are recording it, I will be moving, so I won't be here next week. But so the next show I'll be on is obviously the Game of the Year show. So I'm looking forward to that. You guys need to definitely listen to that one. That's going to be a cracker.
Yes, our Game of the Year show, which will be our last show for the year. We're not actually going to record live. We're going to leave it as a bit of a surprise for everyone. So, apologies to everyone that does jump in and listen live, because I know how much you guys enjoy it because we enjoy having you here. So,
we love you guys.
That'll be something to do a bit different. While we're going with that, the shout outs from me this week for Radicus, Martikins, Kaz. Thank you guys, and also Hugster. Was it Hugster was here for a little while as well? The Hugster. Thank you very much. Other shout out and last words. You know, this is something that's a little bit close to my heart. So a shout out to all the people that are out there at the moment fighting fires and whatnot. Make sure you stay safe. thank you. You're doing a great job. If there is anything I could do to help, I would. It's very surreal. I live in an area that's classified as semi-rural, or it's suburbia surrounded by bush pretty much. And going out in the morning and seeing the car covered in ash, it's a freaky sensation. So the people that are living with this day in, day out, I can't imagine it. I have been through the fires previously, as have you, Greg, being that we grew up kind of a couple of 100 meters apart. So yeah, I know sort of what a lot of people are going through, and yeah, thank you to all the fireys that are doing that. That's screw the politicians. Yeah, they are using it,
and that's how we end
bullshit. That's all their political bullshit. Yeah, we don't worry about that. So those fighting, those living it, my hat goes off to yous. If anyone needs anything, give us a shout out. Like, hit us up. We might be able to help somewhere. I don't know what we can do, but we'll do our best. So sweet. A couple of other things. Don't forget to check out Aussie Gamers TV on Twitch, The Age XP on Mixer, and Snoogervision over on Twitch. Snoogervision is going quite well at the moment. I've got a nice little core of people that always drop in and say g'day, which is great, and been having, one thing I love about streaming, mate, is when you get people that drop in from different parts of the world.
Yep.
And I've had people that have jumped in and they're speaking to me where English isn't their first language. It's brilliant. It's amazing that something like that can bring, all four corners of the globe together. So make sure you're coming over and say g'day. And don't forget Grejio XBL on Instagram. Have you got any pictures of that puppy up yet? I don't use Instagram, so I don't know.
No, it's been a bit quiet for the same reason of everything else. So.
Of everything being quiet, of course.
Yeah, but...
Well, I've been telling people there's puppy pictures, so put some puppy pictures.
I'll put one up right now, just so you can say that I've done it.
Awesome. Well, that's it, mate. So what do you say we close it up for this week?
Let's shut up shop, bro.
Beautiful. Well, thank you very much to everyone that has listened to the show, and especially those that are still listening this far along. A super special thanks again to the guys listening live. As always, brilliant. Thank you for dropping in. Greg, thanks for joining me, bro.
My pleasure.
Hope you've had fun. To all of our listeners, feel free to continue any of the topics we've discussed on this show over in our Discord channel. To get in touch with us directly, you can shoot us an email at info@theagexp.com. Don't forget to hit up our website, which is www.theagexp.com. Links, as always, are in the podcast show notes and descriptions, wherever you can find them. That's all from me. As always, I have been Snoogs.
I have been Grejio.
And we'll see you next time. Bye.
Righto, that's the end of the show. Does anybody listen to the show this far along? I don't know, but if you do, join our exclusive Discord club known as the Agents of Age. Just join our Discord channel using the link in the show description and comment the phrase, "I came here to party," and you will gain Agent of Age status. Subscribe to this podcast using the links to the things in the show description notes, and if you are listening, know this, we love you. See you next time on the official podcast of the Aussie Gamers Experience.